Jon Snow's greatest fear finally comes true in the spin-off Snow. What if the one thing Jon Snow spent his entire life running from is about to hunt him down in the most brutal way possible? And no, I'm not talking about another awkward family dinner with Daenerys. The Snow spin-off is reportedly going to force our favorite brooding hero to face the nightmare that kept him up at night, even more than White Walkers and ant-related drama combined. If you want to catch every theory, breakdown, and revelation about what is coming for Jon Snow, hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell right now, because we are about to unpack the psychological warfare HBO is preparing to unleash on the king in the North who never wanted to be king of anything. Let us get straight to the point. Jon Snow's greatest fear has never been death. The man literally died and came back, so clearly mortality is not his main concern anymore. It was not the White Walkers either, because he charged at them more times than anyone with a functioning survival instinct should. No, Jon Snow's deepest, most paralyzing fear has always been something far more personal and utterly terrifying for a character like him. Leadership, power, becoming the very thing he watched destroy everyone around him. And according to insider reports and Kit Harington's own cryptic comments, Snow is about to drag him kicking and screaming into exactly that nightmare scenario. Think about Jon's entire arc for a second. Every single time someone tried to give him power, he rejected it like it was poison wine at a Lannister wedding. Lord Commander of the Night's Watch? Forced into it. King in the North? He looked like someone just told him he had to attend an eternal name day celebration. The Iron Throne revelation sent him into an existential crisis so severe he ended up stabbing his girlfriend and getting exiled. The pattern is crystal clear. Jon Snow does not fear monsters or death or even complicated family trees. He fears responsibility. He fears making the wrong choice. And most of all, he fears becoming a leader who fails the people depending on him. Now here is where it gets delicious and devastating. The Snow series is reportedly set to explore Jon's life beyond the wall with the wildlings, right? Sounds peaceful, sounds simple, sounds like exactly what a traumatized hero needs. Except nothing in Westeros is ever that simple, and HBO did not greenlight an entire series just to watch Jon Snow pet direwolves and toast marshmallows with Torment. Something's going to force him back into the spotlight. And based on everything we know about the free folk and the political vacuum north of the wall, that something is leadership. The wildlings do not have kings. They famously despise kneeling, and they pride themselves on their freedom. But they do follow strength. They follow legends, and Jon Snow is both. He united them once before, led them through the wall, fought beside them against the dead, and then literally came back from death. To the free folk, Jon is not just some guy, he is the closest thing they have to a living myth. And myths have a funny way of becoming leaders whether they want to or not. Here is the nightmare scenario that Snow is perfectly positioned to explore. What if a new threat emerges beyond the wall? Something that makes the wildling clans start fracturing and fighting among themselves. What if resources become scarce, territories get disputed, or worse, what if remnants of White Walker magic start causing problems again? The free folk would need someone to unite them, someone they trust, someone who understands both their culture and the dangers of the North. And congratulations, Jon Snow. You are the only candidate on that very short list. But wait, it gets worse for our reluctant hero. Because Jon does not just carry the weight of wildling expectations. He is still technically a Stark, blood of Winterfell, and more importantly, he is a Targaryen, the rightful heir to the Iron Throne that he wants absolutely nothing to do with. His very existence is a political bomb that could destabilize the entire realm if anyone decided to use him as a figurehead. Imagine Jon trying to live a quiet life beyond the wall, while various factions in Westeros start whispering about the true king in exile, the Dragon Prince in the North, the leader who could challenge Bran's rule. The horror for Jon is not that people want to kill him. It is that people want to follow him. And following means he has to lead, which means he has to make decisions, which means people might die because of those decisions. And suddenly we are right back in Jon's personal hell. Let's talk about what makes this fear so compelling from a storytelling perspective. Most heroes fear failure, sure, but Jon Snow fears success and leadership almost as much, because he has seen what power does to people. He watched it corrupt Daenerys, the woman he loved, turning her from a liberator into a mass murderer. He saw it twist his Night's Watch brothers until they murdered him. He witnessed it destroy his family, scatter the Starks across continents, and leave Westeros drowning in blood for generations. Power in Jon's experience is not a tool for good. It is a curse that corrupts everything it touches. So imagine the dramatic irony of forcing this man, this character who has every reason to distrust leadership and authority, into a position where refusing to lead would cause even more harm. That is not just good drama. That is psychological torture perfectly calibrated for maximum emotional impact. And HBO knows it. Now let us add another layer to this fear cake. Jon Snow's identity crisis. For his entire life, he thought he was Ned Stark's bastard, the stain on an honorable man's reputation, the living reminder of a supposed mistake. That shame, that sense of being lesser, of not quite belonging, shaped everything about him. It made him join the Night's Watch, made him embrace the outsider role, made him comfortable in the shadows rather than the spotlight. Then boom, surprise, you are actually the legitimate son of Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark. Your entire identity was a lie. And, oh, by the way, you have a better claim to the throne than the woman currently burning cities. That revelation did not empower Jon. It shattered him. Because now he does not even know who he is supposed to be. Is he a Stark? A Targaryen? A Northerner? A Dragon Prince? A bastard who knows nothing, or a king who knows too much? The Snow series has the perfect opportunity to explore this identity crisis in depth, especially if circumstances force him to choose which legacy to embrace. And here is the kicker. Whatever choice he makes will require him to step into a leadership role he desperately wants to avoid. Let's get practical about what this might look like in the actual series. Picture this. A new threat emerges beyond the wall. Maybe magical remnants from the White Walker defeat. Maybe something even older and worse. The wildling clans start panicking. Old rivalries resurface. And suddenly the fragile peace beyond the wall is crumbling. Tormund and the other free folk leaders come to Jon, because of course they do, and they ask him to unite The Snow spinoff is not going to give Jon Snow peace. It is going to give him purpose, whether he wants it or not. And that might be the cruelest fate of all for a man who has already sacrificed everything, including his own life, for a world that keeps demanding more. Thanks for watching, and remember, winter is always coming for Jon Snow.